Welcome back. If you've been using the Surfing the Urge activity book and following along with the videos, thus far we've talked about a few topics related to physiological roots of cravings. And this is Hades. He's come to join us. He also struggles with some food cravings. And we've talked about adjusting your macronutrients in hopes that by adjusting your macronutrients, you can calm down your hunger hormones, stabilize your blood sugar, and reduce some of those food cravings. But what we're going to talk about today is we're going to address how do you deal with emotional food cravings when you know for certain that they are not driven by your body, but they really are emotional in nature. If this is the first time that you're joining me, welcome. I'm glad to have you here, and be sure to check out the description box below for more details on how you can order the activity book or how you can work with me and watch some of my other videos. And a special surprise for those of you that stay to the very end of the video, I will reveal towards the end, but please do stay tuned because it's a pretty cool surprise. So, if you are having emotional food cravings, basically doing some emotional eating or craving food because you're having an uncomfortable emotion, this is how to proceed with this activity book as your guide. There are, of course, plenty of other ways to proceed, but I particularly like this approach. So, step one is to acknowledge that you're having food cravings simply because you're having an uncomfortable set of emotions or an emotion that you don't want to feel anymore. It's kind of that simple. I can tell you the other day I had a very difficult conversation, and I found myself after the conversation thinking, I really want a milkshake, right? And it wasn't just that I was thinking about it, I was sort of obsessively thinking about the milkshake. I was even walking through the steps of like getting into my car and driving to the place that I know in my neighborhood has the best milkshakes. So when I say cravings, I know it's like a very simple little word, but the reality is these cravings come with quite the force, right? They have a bit of an impact, a bit of a drive. There's imaginary processes and imaginary outcomes, and you know, it's this sort of this romanticization of getting the food and what it's going to do for you, right? So step one is acknowledging the association of this uncomfortable feeling with this craving. Step two, which I think this is really where it does get a bit dicey and challenging, is starting to label your emotions. So you might be labeling your emotion as angry, scared, overwhelmed, disappointed, disempowered, devalued. I mean, there's so many different emotions, right? And oftentimes, not only are we just having one emotion, but we're having multiple emotions at the same time, which makes it even more complicated to tease out and separate and begin to label them. But the more clear we can start to become about labeling our feelings, even if you're having a complex mixture of emotions and you don't even know what they all are, just being able to say, I feel uncomfortable right now. I feel overwhelmed by emotion right now, is enough clarity to get started labeling and working through being able to surf the urge of emotional eating. Or what I like to do is change the phrasing on that, because I think emotional eating has such a negative connotation. I like to call it like emotionally driven eating or something like that. There she is. Yeah. So once you start to identify the feeling, then step three is to determine what you need. So this is where, if you can be specific about the emotion, the more clear you can be about what you need to step out of that space. If you're just feeling overwhelmed by emotion and you don't know which one, then maybe you need to just take a pause from all the feelings, and that's where we might just step away. But there's a variety of different things we might need in any emotional kind of upheaval, right? So maybe we need soothing. Maybe we need encouragement. Maybe we need to just take a break from feeling. Maybe we need to feel empowered and strengthened or refreshed because we're tired and fatigued and depleted. So let's go ahead and take a look at page 110 and let's review some options together. So some non-food-based strategies we truly do need to be able to develop if we want to get a handle on emotional eating. Because emotional eating is our tool to feel better when we're not feeling comfortable, happy, great, in a good way, basically, right? So we need to find some other things that can help us surf the urge of using food as that tool. So we need to find some non-food-based tools that can help us surf the urge of eating when we're feeling unwanted emotions. On page 110, and I'm just going to read over a few of these, you'll see color a page in this book. Then maybe post it on social media. I would love that because I want to see what you guys color. Create a piece of collage art. I mean, I think that's a beautiful one. If you go back and watch my initial video, I have a lot of different pieces of collage art that I created, coping with different emotions. Learn a new skill, such as how to draw your favorite animal. That'd be so fun. Knit a granny square. Go shopping, play a video game. Text someone. Something kind and supportive. Oftentimes when we feel disempowered, by extending out kindness and gratitude and showing appreciation for other people, we get that back and we start to appreciate the value that we bring, right? So, like I said, a lot of it really is about identifying what you're feeling, what you need, and then figuring out a non-food-based tool to address your need. So, one of my favorite things in here is to give myself a hand or a foot rub, and that leads me to another tool. That tool is a self-care kit. This is actually one that I sewed and quilted. It's my own little personal self-care kit. Inside I have a variety of different things. I have a little massage lotion so I can give myself a hand massage. I have a little worry stone so I can sit and rub that and distract myself with a tactile sensation. I have a little protein shake, so if I'm craving something sweet and I want to swallow something and consume something, at least it's going to be sweet and have some protein to it. Let's see what else I have. Lemon myrtle room spray. This actually comes from Trader Joe's. I just bought this one recently. It smells delicious, so you could always go get that for yourself. I have some money in there because my inner child really likes having cash money on hand. I have some rose water, so if I'm feeling like I just need to like mentally reset and refresh, I can just use this little spritz. Just take a breath. It's very calming and centering and refreshing. I have a lipstick because sometimes putting on some lipstick and like freshening up your appearance just feels good and uplifting, right? I have a colored pencil and a little mini little journal so I can color or write if I need. I have some cards with some inspirational little quotes. Let's see, they're upside down. So the idea is to be able to create a self-care kit that you can have at home It could be in your kitchen, where you find that you go when you are prompted to emotionally eat, or it could be something that's a little pouch you put in your desk drawer at work, or carry in your purse or your backpack. But the idea is to have the tools you need at your ready, convenient, and for yourself, so that way when you need something, you have it and you're ready to go. So on page 112, you'll see there's a sample coloring page for how to make your own self-care kit. And I actually have made some self-care kits that say consciously choosing on the front, because that's ultimately what's happening when you're feeling emotional, when you're feeling the urge to eat. It does take an intentional, conscious decision to choose to go down a different path. And that's what I'm asking of you. And if you're here, I'm guessing that's what you'd like to try and do. And I promise you it is possible. Inside of these kits, I've put a little handmade tissue holder that I made. So if you really do need to cry, you can. I put in some rose water, the same thing. I put in some chamomile and lavender tea. There is some salve if you want to give yourself a little hand massage, and this actually is CBD salve, so you could even like rub it on your temples or something if you were having a little headache. There is some lavender and sandalwood oil roller. There are some affirmation cards, some blank ones for you to write on. And there are a few milk chocolate, dark chocolates, a rainbow coloring pencil, and a little thing of honey. So if you schedule an appointment with me, I will give you one of these free self-care kits. The link to schedule an appointment with me is in the description box below. If you are one of my current clients and you're watching this video, then just let me know, hey, I watched your video, you talked about making a self-care kit, and I will send you a free self-care kit. So whoever watches this video, whether you're my client or a new person, and you schedule an appointment with me and you mention this video, I will give you one of these. I have 10, so that's the limit, but I would love it to share this with you. All right, so we've colored our self-care kit, imagined the types of things we might put in there, but now we want to make a plan, right? Because as I said, this is all about being intentional about our choices and really giving ourselves the mental, the environmental, and the emotional tools in which to coach ourselves through this other path. So when stress strikes on page 114, I will use one or all of these 4 non-food items to soothe me. So those could be things out of your self-care kit. They could be things that are on page 110 from the list. Maybe you soothe yourself by listening to music and or taking a hot bath or doing some yoga or going outside in nature for a walk. There's so many different things you can do to soothe yourself other than drink a milkshake, right? You also have different activities you could do. Maybe the activity is also soothing, or maybe an activity might be something that you use more to like pause and take a break from all of your feelings. But the idea is to start to pinpoint those things and have a clear action plan. You can see on page 114, the back of that page is blank. As far as I'm concerned, you should rip that page out or cut it when you have your plan mapped out, and fold it up and put it in your self-care kit, hang it on your fridge. But please do refer to this, because in order to break that habit of emotionally eating, it does take some repetition and some practice. So you're gonna have moments where you completely forget about it, or you just feel simply too overwhelmed emotionally and you're like, no, I'm not challenging it right now. And that is okay, okay? So read through the plan on page 114 and get to filling that out. All right, well, thank you for joining me again, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Of course, check back in a couple of weeks. I release videos every other Wednesday, and I'll see you then.